Why hello, and welcome to another edition of Stax of Wax, Volume 5? 5. Go 5, I don't know. If you're just joining this series right now, this is an alphabetized version of my record collection, just showing off what I got. Maybe some interesting finds, maybe some things you never heard of, you know, just kind of a cool way to flex on what I got here. So, let's get right into things. And this one, it's a very special record to me. It's a Philadelphia native over here, big Philly sports guy with the fantastic Phillies. This is all about, it's interviews, different clips from the 1980s World Series that they won, and best of all, it's narrated by the late Harry Kallas. If you don't know Harry Kallas, I don't really blame you, you might not be from Philadelphia. He was a broadcaster for the Phillies for many years, many decades. I don't even know exactly how long, but he was beloved by all the fans and everybody in the city, and his untimely death definitely hit very hard for everybody. So to have this, physical rendition of, the interviews that he did at the time when they won their first World Series in 1980, it's just very special to have. I really don't listen to it that often. It's not something that I play regularly. I've only listened to it like once all the way through. But to hear his voice is very comforting, and it's, nice to hear the guy. He really was someone truly special who cared so deeply about the Philly sports franchises, and especially his Philadelphia Phillies. Just standard black vinyl, Really nothing too crazy about this. It is just more or less interviews and highlights from the games themselves, the World Series. So, yeah, that's about it. But it's a very special one to me, and I'm very happy that I have it. Next up is an old jazz record by the Hi-Lo's. I know this looks like it's in horrible condition. The cover is in really bad condition, and I need to get a new sleeve because it's just plastic wrap. But this record's fantastic. Really good jazz quartet. I forget what year this came out in. So it doesn't actually say what year it came out in on here, but I'm almost positive it came out anywhere between like 1952 and 1956. And I know it looks like it's in crap condition, but the record itself is in pristine condition. I mean, it sounds great. There's not a single skip or scratch or anything on this thing. So I really need to get a new sleeve to give it the justice that it deserves. But yeah, it's a fun little record. Listened to it a couple of times. No Miles Davis or anything like that, but yeah, it's a good one to have. Next up, we have two records from the British punk group IDLES. You have their Meat EP. This was a Record Store Day exclusive in 2019. This came out, I believe, in 2015 or 2014 when it was originally released just as a flat download. It has the original mixes on the first side, A side, and on the B side, it's a bunch of remixes. It's the same songs, but it's cool. You get a remix by David Pajo of Slint. He does the first track. You get a couple cool remixes on them. It's a cool record. Just a short little EP, 4 songs on each side, and the same songs, just different remixes. But the nicest part about it, it's on white vinyl, and it looks awesome. It sounds great too. This was one of the main records that I was looking to get Record Store Day 2019, and I'm very thankful that I got it. I got the last copy. Big IDLES fan. I think they're really doing some cool stuff. They have a really cool message. So not only do I have the Meat EP, also have Joys and Active Resistance over here. Their 2018 release. Just standard, normal edition. I didn't get any of the special edition ones. I am looking into getting their new live album that they're putting out. A bunch of tracks from this, a bunch of tracks from Brutalism, which I'm also looking to get at some point too, to round out my IDLES collection. But yeah, just regular black vinyl. IDLES, great punk rock, post-punk kind of, but yeah, they're a really fun group if you've never heard of them before. Some fantastic tracks off here. Kallas, Danny Nedelko, Television, which is one of my favorite tracks of last year. I'm Scum, Never Fight a Man with a Perm. Just really good political punk rock coming out of Britain right now with IDLES, and they're killing it. They really, really are. Now, what is probably the most prized possession or most collectible record that I have in my collection here, Injury Reserve's Drive It Like It's Stolen 10-inch EP. I was able to get this online for, I think it was like 35 bucks. I got it for a steal, and now it goes for like 100 bucks or something like that. Most Injury Reserve fans don't really like this record as much. They say it's probably one of their weaker projects, but I personally think it's fantastic. It's probably one of, if not my favorite Injury Reserve release. I really enjoy how slow they take things on this album. Or EP, excuse me. It's not as banger heavy, but there are definitely some banger tracks on here. See You Sweat is an awesome banger. But then you get a song like North Pole, which is just really down to earth, sad, depressing, kind of sappy, but it really works. And all the instrumentals on this track and the production, really, really well done. And get the inside sleeve here. They do a great job with the packaging on this record, I must say. And then it comes on orange vinyl. Sounds great. Definitely one of my most listened to records that I have. I absolutely love putting this one on, spinning it. And yeah, if you've never heard of this EP before and you like hip-hop, a little bit more experimental in a way, but not too out there, definitely has some mainstream stylistic approaches to it, but yeah, it's a great record. Go give it a listen. Next up we have Iron Maiden's 1984 release, Power Slave. I've done a Forever Spinning episode on this already. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Great record, just a repress. I'm looking to get some more Iron Maiden stuff, probably Number of the Beast. You know, Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight. Some great tracks off of here. Solid record all around. One of their best releases easily, if not their best. And yeah, you know, would love to get an original at some point, but for right now, I'm completely content with having the repress of it. Yeah, black vinyl. You get some cool cover on the inside here. You get all the lyrics. Yeah, pretty simple setup, but they do package it pretty well. And it's worth getting because I'm pretty sure I got this for like 16 bucks, so it's pretty darn cheap. Especially if you like Iron Maiden, it is a steal. Next up is post-punk emo legends, Jawbox. This is Grape or Grip. I don't know how to pronounce it. I didn't look it up before I did this video, and now I'm realizing I probably should have done that. This is off of Discord Records. They always do a solid job with keeping their records on the cheap. Cheap. They always try to make sure their records are only like 14 or 15 bucks. So that way it's accessible to all, you know. You don't have to spend a fortune to get one of these records. And this is a repress, but it is really, really darn good. Really like this record. Freezer Burn, one of the best emo tracks that has come out ever. Actually, yeah, now that I'm looking at it, available for $11 post-paid from Discord Records. So, like I said, they keep it cheap. But yeah, Jawbox, if you've never listened to them before, go give them a listen, especially if you enjoy, you know, post-punk emo kind of stuff, especially early emo. None of that like Sunny Day Real Estate kind of stuff, a little bit more broken down and bare. But yeah, great record. Give it a listen. Standard black vinyl. But like I said, Discord, they always do the best they can with the packaging, and I think this art looks pretty darn cool here. Actually never really noticed that until I just looked at it right now. Really interesting art piece. I dig it. And then lyrics on the back. Pretty simple, but it gets the job done. It's efficient. Those Discord record guys are efficient. I'll give that to them. Next up is Jay Reatard's Matador singles collection. Was released in 2008. All of his 7 inches that he has put out have been put onto this one single 12-inch disc. So it's not really an album, it's more or less a compilation of all of his singles and stuff like that. But if you like Jay Reatard, really great record. Great tracks on here all around. You know, Matador always does a decent job. I actually got this at Jerry's Records out in Pittsburgh while I was out there. And they always keep things pretty cheap. I was pretty glad that they had this. I don't have any other Reatard stuff, so I thought, you know what, I'll pick this up in the meantime. And it has definitely held me over. I dig it. Standard sleeve inside and standard black vinyl. So, you get the gist. Next up is the Jesus Lizard's Liar. This album rips, man. This album is awesome if you've never heard this. I'm going to do Forever Spinning on this album at some point. Probably not during Obscure Month, because this isn't as obscure as some of the other ones that I want to get done on there. But yeah, man, this is awesome. This is Jesus Lizard. If you've never listened to them, they are as hard as you can get and still carry a great, distinct sound without it all sounding drowned out. Yeah, Steve Albini remastered this one. I also believe he produced it, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. That's why I got to do my research before I make the Forever Spinning episode. But Boilermaker, oh, dude, that song rips. If you've never heard of that, go listen to that right now. Don't even worry about listening to the rest of the album, which you should do anyway, but, you know. And this is just a repress of the original. They're smart, and they put it in a plastic sleeve, black vinyl, and then you get a little poster thing over here with lyrics and such. And Jesus Lizard, they're coming to Philly. It is December 30th, and then actually my cousin is playing. He's opening for the Jesus Lizard with his band Plaque Marks. So if you're going to be around in town that time and you're going to go to the show, leave a comment below because I would love to meet you out there. So yeah, Jesus Lizard, Liar. Go listen to this, man. If there's anything out of here besides maybe the injury reserve stuff, you want something harder, go rip this, man. And last but not least, John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band. I picked this up for like $3 or something like that. It was stupid cheap. Record's in okay condition. So is the sleeve. It's, you know, not the best, but I really don't listen to this record that much. Not the biggest John Lennon fan in the world. I think he's pretty good, you know, don't get me wrong. But, you know, good record. It really is. If you're into that kind of stuff and, you know, you enjoy that classic rock, especially any of the Beatles stuff, you've probably heard of this record before. And if you haven't, you're missing out, especially if you're into that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you know. Actually, I just realized there's actually no sleeve in here. No wonder I got it for so cheap. But the record does sound pretty good. If I'm not mistaken, there's like a scratch maybe in like track 5 of side A or something like that. But I can live with it. I really don't listen to it that much anyway. You know, if I want, I'll get a better copy at some point down the line. So, that does it. That is volume 5, I think we established earlier, of Stax of Wax. And I will be continually doing these, probably dropping them every other week, maybe every third week. I don't know yet. I'm still working on a schedule. I know Forever Spinning's every Friday, but still trying to figure everything else out. Leave a comment below if you have any of these records, if you like any of these bands, or maybe even have a suggestion of a band that is similar to these, or a group that, you know, I would maybe dig. I'd love to hear your suggestions. And yeah, that about does it. Thank you very much for watching. Keep it real and keep spinning that wax, baby. Peace.